I'm Michael Amir, and this is Verified. Welcome to the first episode of the new year. 2019 was a lot of ups and downs, and 2020 has already started to be very interesting. If you follow some kind of news outlet or social media platform, then you've been hearing Trump's name quite a bit. Trump's war and hashtag World War III have been trending on Twitter starting Thursday. Now, for those who don't know, it was confirmed by the White House that on Thursday, one day into the new year, January 2nd, that President Donald Trump and his administration, without consulting Congress, without consulting their allies, ordered the assassination of Qasem Soleimani via a U.S. drone strike. Now, he was a very beloved, high-ranking Iranian general. He's said to be a hero who fought terrorism in that country, and the people love him. Now, this is a huge step in the American-Iranian conflict, and Verified last year, we covered it all last year, from America putting tough sanctions and threatening with words to Iran shooting down an unmanned drone in their territory. But this is the first time that actual conflict has happened as far as assassinating someone and assassinating a high-ranking member. Iran is, to say the least, not happy about it. Ambassador from Iran to the United Nations, Mr. Majid Ravanchi, was interviewed today, earlier this morning. Let's hear what he said about this assassination.
What the U.S. administration did yesterday was against international law. They used the Iraqi airspace. Iraq is a sovereign country. The government of Iraq issued a statement today saying that it was an act of aggression by the United States. So it shows that what the Americans did in assassinating Martyr Soleimani and his colleagues was an act of aggression against international law, against the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Iraq, and definitely that cannot be condoned. Definitely there will be harsh revenge. When, where, how, I don't know, but there will be some retaliation, because it was an act of aggression by the United States, and we cannot just close our eyes on what happened to a dear general of our armed forces who was instrumental in defeating Daesh and other terrorist groups.
Now, he said, quote, "This was an act of aggression by the U.S. against international law." And he also said that there will be a harsh revenge. America anticipated this, so what are they doing? Well, they already sent 700 troops to Kuwait, and they are ordering another 3,500 troops to the Middle East. Also, domestically, they're taking precautions. Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York was interviewed yesterday. Let's hear what he said.
The problem is that Iranian proxies have previously, we know this, it's public information, they've scouted out New York City targets, Hezbollah in particular. This goes back years, and we know that Iran and its many agents have long since had plans to prepare to attack American locations. Look, this is what I'm trying to get across overall. This is, as of last night, we are effectively in a state of war with Iran. And that should have been done with congressional approval, but it wasn't. And now we're not just dealing with another country. We're dealing with a very sophisticated, modern country with a huge military and an internationally organized terrorist network.
Now, his words. Overall, as of last night, we are effectively in a state of war with Iran. That's the mayor's words. Now, this not only came as a shock to the American public, but it also was a shock to Congress. And presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders is speaking out about it. He did an interview, several of them. Let's play a clip from one of the interviews.
Look, let us remember, we have been in Afghanistan for 18 years. We've been in Iraq for now, 16 years? We have spent trillions of dollars. We've lost thousands of soldiers. Do we really want to get into never-ending, perpetual warfare in the Middle East? I think we don't. And let us also never, ever forget that the worst foreign policy and military blunders in the modern history of America were based on lies. And that is the war in Vietnam, which was based on the so-called Gulf of Tonkin incident, and the war in Iraq, which was based on the lie that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. You know, it is very easy for politicians to pound the table and talk about how tough they are, especially in an election year. But it will not be the sons and daughters of billionaires who get killed in those wars. It will be the working class kids of this country. So we have a responsibility to do everything we can to solve this crisis diplomatically, not go to war.
Now remember what Sanders just said. A lot of these wars were based on lies. We got to talk about that a little deeper, based on lies. Well, not only was Congress taken aback, but also America's allies. That was a great article in the Business Insider. It was titled, "The United States' Main Allies Are Abandoning Trump Over His Dangerous Escalation with Iran." The UK warned that a war with Iran is in none of our interest, quote. And the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, Dominic Raab, is quoted as saying, "I would urge the U.S. administration to share much more closely with allies, particularly those who are fighting alongside in the region, including us." How are you going to throw your allies in a war without even warning them? That's Trump. Germany warns, saying it's a dangerous escalation. And France also warned of the danger of a unilateral action. Now, out of all the allies, there's only one nation who is praising Trump, saying he did a great job, and that is Israel. And the article said Israel stands alone in praising Trump. I don't think there's any surprise there. Now, a lot of the American public are questioning Trump's motives, the timing of this war with the election. Funny enough, a video just resurfaced of Trump accusing Obama for what many people are saying he's doing this very moment. Let's play that video of Trump.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran.
Where are we right now? Well, as of today, the Trump administration warned Congress that Iran can send an attack within the next few weeks. Told Congress to prepare for an attack, and they said it could be sooner. Also, today, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani issued a statement saying that America committed a, quote, grave mistake. And he said that Americans, quote, will face the consequences of this criminal act, not only today, but also in the coming years. We don't know what Iran is going to do, but one thing we do know for sure is that our community isn't messing with it. We're not feeling the war. And Black Twitter was on fire Thursday and Friday with all type of jokes about not going to the war, dodging the draft, make people who wear MAGA hats go to war. It was hilarious to us. But to a government who's going to have to propagate a war, it's dangerous. Which leads me to this man. Oh, we've been so misled about who this man is. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been warning us, the American people, the world, the government, particularly American government, for decades. I want to show you a video. This video was taken in Iran when he was there November 2018. Now, of course, the Trump administration didn't want him to go, but he doesn't care. He's a free man. So he went to Iran to speak to them. And at this press conference in November 11th, 2018, I want you to hear what he had to say. Let's play that.
My teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, taught me years ago the policies of our government would bring about a war in the Middle East that would be a trigger to the greatest war that has ever been, the war of Armageddon, spoken of in the Bible. My teacher wrote an article warning America in a time of great confusion over who is going to be president, either a Democratic president or a Republican. And we saw that played out 2 years ago. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that we were living in that which is called the lull before the storm. No matter who wins the election, that president would have to guide America through the most difficult time in world affairs. Mr. Trump is that leader today. And Elijah Muhammad taught me that I should say to him, you would be wise, Mr. Trump, to delay the storm as long as you can. Because the longer the storm is delayed, is to not only America's advantage, but is to the advantage of the world. These sanctions are the predicate for a new war. A reporter asked my teacher, is America going to remain in the Middle East? And my teacher said, America is going to come out of the Middle East. And when they asked about war, he said, yes, there would be war. And he said, bloodshed in this area would be much.
و گفتش که خونریزی در این منطقه از جهان زیاد خواهد بود.
I am begging our president and the government that supports him to be very, very careful. Because if the trigger of war in the Middle East is pulled by you using your surrogates at the insistence of Israel, then the war will trigger another kind of war which will bring China, Russia, all of the nations into a war. And it bothers me to say this to you, Mr. President, but the war will end America as you know it. So when these Iranians chant death to America, death to Israel, no chant can bring about your death, but it is your policies that are eroding trust for you in the world, favor for you in the world. And now you're pulling apart, confused. And if you do this, you will bring about, not the Iranian chant, you will bring about the death of the greatest nation that has been on this earth in the last 6,000 years. I am a warner to you. I am a friend to America, not an enemy. But if you do not heed the warning and correct your path, death will come.
He warned America. He's been giving us the headlines before the headlines. That was November 11th, 2018. I want you to hear one more. Just pay close attention. This is of July 2019, a few months ago, before all this cracked off. Let's play this clip.
America's about to go to war. And when she goes to war, she wants black and brown bodies. Now you're useful. They don't give a doggone about how black lives matter until they want to use black lives to accomplish their wicked ends. They're trying to provoke Iran. I would like to say to the president, Mr. President, it would not be a wise move for you, because you're already $23 trillion in debt, and you don't have any money to prosecute a war. So if you don't have the money to prosecute a war, the Federal Reserve is printing money every day. So you will have to come to the Federal Reserve to borrow money that you don't have to prosecute a war in a time when any little thing could cause the dollar to fall and the stocks to fall.
That is what they don't want you to hear. Why do you think the minister's banned from social media? You don't still believe the racist, anti-Semite lie, do you? Come on, stop letting them put that over on you. I like what Brother Nuri said. We're such lazy learners. Fox News call him a racist and you don't do no research, you're appalled. This man is the embodiment of love. He's been putting his life on the line for you since the 50s. He doesn't care about making you call yourself a Muslim. That's not what he's here for. He is here to challenge the world powers that keep you and I oppressed. That's the truth. These are little snippets. I want to challenge you all right now. Now, there are some lazy learners who don't care and want to take what people give them and take that for what it is, and that's fine. For people who really care about themselves, their people, the nation, the country, I want you to challenge what you've heard. Some of you who have an opinion about the minister never even heard a lecture. I want you to go and listen to a lecture. It doesn't matter which one. When you see this man speak, you see he's genuine. You feel his love. There's nothing fake about it. Go and watch a lecture. If you want to DM me, I'll recommend one of my personal favorites, a few of mine. There's a bunch of them. But just watch any lecture. I challenge you. I and we didn't do this show to scare you about a war. It is what it is. America, Iran, Trump's in power. I don't really have faith that Bernie is the savior or Elizabeth Warren, any of them are the savior. It is what it is. We're here to tell you that in this time of trouble, we do have a guide. All is not lost. And Minister Farrakhan can help continue to warn and guide us in this time of trouble. That's today's show. Thank you for tuning in. Now, if you do not have the app, whether you have Apple or whether you have Android, get the app NFA Studios. If you're old school and want to watch on a desktop, go to www.nfastudios.com. There's a free trial. Get the free trial and just check it out. Check out the content. With your support, we keep going. We're an independent media outlet, and the only way we can stay independent is with your support. We do this for you. So if you want to continue to get the truth, uncut, unfiltered, then go now and subscribe. And don't worry, you don't have to worry about fake news and lies and all this stuff here, because this is verified.